Hello and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. And this is the player ratings video for Everton's 0-0 draw away at Crystal Palace. I'd just done the match reaction video, literally just on pretty much on the full-time whistle after that game. Please check that out for kind of more in-depth thoughts on the match as a whole. But going through each individual player's performances. Um, for most, it was another decent display, kind of similar in parts to the defeat at Fulham last week, though. Really kind of struggled to get going for like the first half hour or so, then kind of grew into the game going into the break. The only difference was this time, as opposed to last week in the second half against Fulham, where we just kind of lost our way after the break. We stuck in this time, and even through going down to 10 men late on. I thought still put in a very solid performance. And obviously, a draw is still not ideal with the situation we're in, but as I say, it just kind of places a bit more importance on the fixtures we've got coming up. Because obviously we do need to start winning as soon as possible, really. But yeah, so going through the individual performances, I mean, Pickford, it's a clean sheet. We don't get many of them these days. So I think then he made a few very key saves. I remember one in particular from Eze's shot. Obviously, Eze's been in top form lately since Hodgson came in. Nearly caught Pickford up with a really like kind of deft shot that was all about accuracy, and it was literally about to bounce right before it reached him. And right into the bottom corner. And it was a really good save, really, that I don't think was based on the coverage I watched. I don't think really got the credit it deserved at the time, but I actually thought it was a very solid save from Pickford. And yeah, just an all-round solid performance from him as ever. He's undoubtedly been our most consistent performer this season and for the past few seasons, really. And yeah, he's really kept us afloat, and hopefully he can do it just one more time. But yeah, Holgate obviously, struggled today coming back into the first team after quite a lengthy absence out, and playing at right back in place of the injured Coleman. Didn't have his best game today, let's be honest, and obviously ends up getting sent off. He got caught out that often. As I touched on in the reaction video, I actually thought the red card was quite harsh. I don't think the first yellow was really a yellow. Whereas, the second one was a yellow, but he shouldn't have been a yellow in the first place, in my eyes. And as I said then as well, I think, there's a school of thought for getting him off once he gets that yellow, just to, not risk something like what happened happening. So, but yeah, it wasn't Holgate's best performance of that. I think he'd be the first to admit it. So I think getting a red card, potentially putting us in danger towards the end there, can't get any more than a four, really, can he? Whereas Keane and Tarkowski, I both thought had really solid performances today. I think they're really developing a bit of a partnership. That I saw it quite a few times where the communication between them was very solid, and they both seem to have an idea of who was doing what, which is encouraging. Because our defense has not been great of late. Let's be honest. You look at Fulham where they were just waltzing through us at times. But I actually thought it was quite a solid defensive performance from us today. And as I say, an attack full of confidence, like what we came up against, and keeping them quiet as we did, is always a positive. So yeah, so I'm going to give them both a 7, and then Mikalenko a 6. One who seems to get slated every single week. And don't get me wrong, I'm not his biggest fan, but I thought he was solid enough today. Up against a very talented winger in Michael Elise, who I singled out in my match preview as the one to watch out for. Top winger is Elise. I think he'll be in the Champions League minimum in the next 2 or 3 years. Could see someone like City signing him up. So I think it's a really good bit of business from Palace. And just a top winger. And I thought Mikalenko kicked him pretty quiet, to be honest. There were times where he was worrying me, but with the support of the likes of McNeil or Wobie in front of him as well, of course, Mikalenko managed to keep him pretty quiet. I'll be honest. So I don't really have too many complaints with his performance. So yeah, just a 6 for him really. And then moving into the midfield, just a few sloppy mistakes, but at the same time. Again, quite a solid all-round defensive performance from him. Um, Obviously, he has to make up a lot of the energy now with both Onana and Decore absent from the side, and I thought he did that pretty well, to be honest. You know, it's a very energetic side, our Crystal Palace. So you need someone in that midfield who's combative and willing to run. And I thought Gay did that pretty well, to be honest. So solid six for him as well, and similarly with James Garner. And it just wasn't quite his game, really, was it? We didn't have too much of the ball. We weren't really in need, like, didn't really have many chances with a player in the middle to pick out a pinpoint pass. It was a lot more direct, looking for Calvert-Lewin, of course, and the runs off him from the likes of Gray or Wobie or McNeil. So not really Garner's game, really. So I thought he had a pretty quiet one, but defended pretty well. And when he did need to make a pass, I thought he was solid enough. So another six for him as he, kind of gets up to speed with the side. Demarai Gray's a frustrating one for me. I think the last few games we've kind of needed him to step up more than he has been. And there was a point in the season where he was our most reliable attacking threat, and it's the opposite now. McNeil's putting in much more of a shift, and him similarly is a Wobie. I just think if Gray's just proper up for it, just proper playing as direct as we know he can, I think he could just be vital for us. And it's frustrating me that he's not doing that. He didn't exactly play badly today, but I think he should have been doing more than he did. And for that reason, I'm giving him a 5. Purely because we all know how good Demarai Gray can be on his day. So to see a pretty lackluster performance like that when we need him to be in first gear is frustrating. So, and for completely opposite reasons, I think Iwobi gets a 7 from me today because I thought he'd absolutely run his socks off. Mostly played back in the middle again, which we all know is much where he prefers because he's much more effective there. And I think we saw it. There were he was probably had our best chance of the game with that volley in the first half. And then would have got the assist for our second best chance of the game had Calvert-Lewin managed to put that shot away after the clever turn. But just wasn't to be in the end. But like I say, I think going forward, Iwobi was definitely our biggest threat today. And obviously towards the end as well, put a shift in, keeping hold of the ball pretty well when we needed to just keep hold of possession and just kind of weather the storm as they, look to try and nick a late winner against 10 men. And I thought that was really effective for us. So like I say, Iwobi just for effort alone really gets a 7 from me. And then McNeil again, didn't have too much of an impact on the game. As much as he maybe would have liked, was being moved around a lot. Sometimes it was on the left, sometimes it was on the right. Maybe could have got in a bit more crosses than as we would have liked, with Calvert-Lewin to aim for in there as well. We all know how much we missed that threat of his aerial threat in the box. And yeah, I had a feeling today this game would really suit McNeil and he could, really be effective for us. And it wasn't quite like that. But on the other hand, still really worked hard and, like I say, putting that shift in towards the end, helping out down that right side. The work rate from him has been top notch since Dutch came in 100%. And yeah, he's been really effective in recent weeks. So I think just a 6 in this game. Like I say, I would have hoped for a bit more impact from him, but I can't fault him for effort really. And then finally, of course, the big talking point, Calvert-Lewin, 90 minutes under his belt. I think we were all a bit surprised by that. It looked likely he was going to be in the squad at the very least this week, but I, for one, didn't think he'd be starting. But I think it's kind of paid off in my eyes. I think Deitch is pretty confident. He's fully match fit now. And I think that was shown by the fact he was given 90 minutes, didn't have any issues whatsoever, at least that we saw anyway. And hopefully that means, barring any injuries, Calvert-Lewin's fully match fit now and can hopefully play the rest of our games this season, which could make a difference. It did just seem different, didn't it? We when we're punting those balls forward, he just seemed more confident that we'd get something on. And even if he doesn't win the header, he puts enough pressure on the defender that they make a mistake and it can make things happen. And as I touched on, he probably had one of our best chances of the game when he took that shot on the turn, took away his pass on the turn even, and the shot was just wide. With his weaker foot, as I said, on his stronger foot, you never know. Might have been the difference on the day, but solid enough performance from Calvert-Lewin, I think, and obviously I think we're all really pleased to see him back. So a 6 for him, and yeah, obviously I never really did a subs, and obviously there was only two today. Godfrey coming on in the end. Once Holgate got sent off and was solid enough, as solid as he needed to be. Once we had our kind of backs against the wall for those last 10 minutes or so. And then Morpay coming on. I don't think it was the right sub, let's be honest. I think Sims, with his holding up ability, aerial threat, would have made more of an impact if there was, like I said, weren't doing much attacking towards the end anyway, were we really? But you just think with Sims, just get more minutes under his belt and get more experience rather than persisting with a player like Morpay that we just know is just ineffective in our system. But yeah, that's the only real quibble for me. I think today could have gone a lot worse than it did. And as I say, draw's a solid enough result, but we need to start winning as soon as possible. So I think we cast our minds already now to Newcastle on Thursday night, and hopefully Goodison can pull off yet another miracle, and the fans can drag these players over the line. So we shall see. But yeah, that is all for this video. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment below, giving your ratings for the players. How pleased were you to see Calvert-Lewin back in particular and stuff? And yeah, subscribe to the Toffee Blues for more Everton content. And we will see you in the next video. Cheers.